All right. Good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron
and Chief Forecaster Derek here with Arkansas Weather Watchers. It's been kind of a slow go of it here this evening, but we have our first tornado warning here in southeast Arkansas, and this goes for Drew and the Shea counties in far southeast until 7:15 p.m. This evening. Would not be shocked to see also very northwestern parts of Chico County added here in just a few minutes.
Right, so we're keeping an eye on this storm right now. As mentioned before, we do have a tornado warning that is now in place until 7:15 this evening. It's going to go for southwestern DeShane and southeastern Drew counties at this point. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles north of Snyder or 11 miles southwest of Dermott, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So remember what I told you guys this morning and this afternoon. If a tornado warning gets issued, now is the time to use that game plan here. So if you know anyone in DeShane and Drew counties, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to you and the outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately. If you're outside traveling and you're on 65, etc., you need to evacuate your vehicle. You need to find some substantial shelter and get to shelter immediately. Okay, so flying debris would be dangerous to those caught without shelter. As mentioned before, this is going to go for Dermott, McGee, Jerome, also Collins, and Masonville down here in southeastern Arkansas. So to repeat, tornado warning in effect until 7:15 this evening. It's going to go for southwestern DeShane and southeastern Drew counties. And I'm also watching another storm up here. We're going to watch this just southeast of Star City. We're going to have to keep an eye on this storm as well. This one could be going tornado warning in a little bit. That's going to be south of 293 or just to the west of Dumas. So if you know anyone on this area, keep an eye out. We'll keep you guys updated. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to go until 7:15 as well. But the tornado warning down here, if you know anyone in Dermott or you know anyone in McGee, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. That's getting away from windows, put as many walls to you and the outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. Go ahead, Dan.
And again, as we have mentioned throughout the last several days, you need to be prepared for rapidly changing weather conditions. It's been kind of a slow start for us here in southeast Arkansas today, but once again, a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, is still in effect for Ashley and Chico counties this evening. Again, we have not seen the warnings or the tornadoes that we've seen in Mississippi, but we are still seeing that threat throughout the next couple of hours here across far southeastern Arkansas.
Right. So that's the biggest thing right now. So if you know anyone on that, we talked about this morning as well, that Highway 65, 165 area. I told you guys, if you lived along that highway or you know someone that's planning on traveling on that highway, kind of monitor the weather today. This is what we're going to have to be watching. But if you know anyone in that area, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to you and the outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately. Fortunately for us right now, I'm not seeing any sort of reports of this thing being on the ground or anything like that, which is awesome news. There
is a chaser heading for that Zachary Hall and James Bryant with Channel 7, so I'm monitoring their feed. Rotation is really starting to uptick in this storm.
Yeah.
If you live in Dermott, folks, you're not under a tornado warning, but I would definitely be seeking shelter at this time because this is going to move right over the town of Dermott here very, very shortly. Again, lowest level of your house away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Once again, this is not on the ground yet. It has not been confirmed, but these storms have been rapidly spinning up and dropping all afternoon long.
Right. So that's going to be the biggest thing right now, guys. And I mentioned before, we got other storms going on across the natural state. I know everybody's kind of, stressed out. The anxiety is through the roof today and stuff like that. You're hearing nothing but severe weather on Facebook and on Twitter and on much of your news stations and stuff like that. But I want to assure you guys right now, this is in southeastern Arkansas. This is where your threat is at its highest. I'm seeing a lot of comments from central and western Arkansas and stuff like that. If you live in western Arkansas, you're good to go. You're done with this event altogether. But in southeastern Arkansas, particularly in this area, in Drew and DeShane counties, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. And as a matter of fact, and Derek mentioned this earlier, I wouldn't be shocked to see that tornado warning to get bumped a little bit into northern Chico County here. So we'll keep an eye on the situation, guys. That's the biggest thing. I'm also watching these storms over here as well, coming out from the Harrell area, coming up into the same area as I mentioned before, Highway 165. This area here is beginning to rotate as well. So we're going to watch the situation closely. Severe thunderstorm warning for that area. Tornado warning for Drew and DeShay counties. Both of them are going to go until 7:15 this evening. Make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions. If you live in a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and I'm seeing this area of rotation, Derek, you may want to confirm it on your side as well. I'm seeing this area of rotation. It's going to be, I would say, just southwest of Star City or just to the south of 530. Not south, southwest of 530. That broad area of rotation, we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens. Newest scans continues that broad area of rotation here. You're starting to see your low-level jet kick in and stuff like that. So if you know anyone that's in this area, if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, let's go ahead and get to shelter. Let's go ahead and do it just to be on the safe side in case this rotation area starts to increase even more. But as I mentioned before, tornado warning is still in effect until 7:15 for Drew and DeShay counties. I wouldn't be shocked, as I mentioned before, for northern Chico County. But if you know anyone on 165 right now, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. If you're traveling right now, you need to get out of a car. You need to find that substantial shelter. That could be a gas station. That could be a grocery store or something nearby with a sturdy shelter, and get in there immediately. Do not park under overpasses. As I mentioned before, overpasses are basically a death sentence when you're dealing with tornado warnings, okay? So keep that in mind across the board. If you know anyone on 165, or anyone in Dermont right now, Dermont really needs to be taking their tornado precautions immediately at this point. I'm taking a look at a couple more products here. This is what we call our correlation coefficient. Fortunately, right now, I'm not seeing anything on the ground per radar, but doesn't mean you need to take this threat lightly here, okay? Also, along with the tornado threat, there's a hail threat starting to develop just south of Dermont as well. Wouldn't rule out the potential of some quarter size upwards to, I do believe, let me see here, I do believe we will be watching for that hail threat as well. But right now, the tornado, as radar indicates, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. I mentioned this earlier, guys, that these storms are not going to be wasting any sort of time. But it's moving at 60 miles per hour, so we're going to get a track on this storm here. Derek, are you getting any more information on your side at this point?
Nothing yet.
Okay. All right, so there's the track of the storm. It's going to be right here. We're going to put it at about 60 miles per hour. So let's clock it about right here. We're going to have what's called a city called Benoit. We got Cleveland, also over towards Louisville over here, which is going to be in far southeastern Arkansas along Highway 165 and 165. And then this is going to cross over the Mississippi River and go into Mississippi here. But this is something that we're keeping an eye on at this point. Hail threat definitely just south of Dermont, or just to the north of Jerome at this point. This is to the north and west of Lake Village, south of Winchester, southeast of. Okay, they says okay, so they dropped the tornado warning. However, okay, I don't either. But here's what they did: the severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect with this storm is now tornado possible. So we're going to continue to monitor the storm. I'm not going to get off the live stream just yet. We're going to continue to monitor the storm until it's crossed the Mississippi River. So if you know anyone that 165 corridor, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to unity outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this point. Let's also talk about the severe thunderstorm warning up here as well. It's going to go for Cleveland, Drew, Jefferson, Lincoln, and also Arkansas County until 7:15 as well. That's going to go for the potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, with that storm moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So to repeat, the tornado warning itself has been dropped. However, the severe thunderstorm warning, which is tornado possible, by the way, remains in effect until 7:30. And this storm is moving at a whopping speed of 62 miles per hour. So it's going to be crossing the Mississippi River and going into Mississippi for too much longer. But we're going to stay on this storm until it crosses over the Mississippi River. I just don't trust this thing not being tool worn at this point, because given that it still has a good amount of rotation with it here. So what you got for me over there, Derek?
Not seeing any reports of anything. Once again,
Okay.
Tornado warning has been dropped and replaced with a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this rotation is moving out out of Drew County into Chico County, and it's actually going to traverse the very, 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 very southern edges of
Deshay
County, as well as this continues to move off across the Mississippi River.
So that's gonna be the biggest thing right now. I'm gonna take a look at a couple of photos that we're getting in from this area here along 65, and I'm not seeing anything in terms of this thing being on the ground or anything like that, which is awesome news whenever you're dealing with a tornado warning here. When I said before, this tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but the severe thunderstorm warning it's been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's tornado possible, and that does also include northern Chico County as well. That's the biggest thing. They dropped the tornado warning, but they replaced it with severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible at this point. I believe what happened, Derek, it switched up. Yeah, that's what happened. So there was a tornado warning for LZK, but what ended up happening was they dropped the tornado warning, and Jackson took over and put the severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible. So just kind of keep that in mind across the year here. Also, we're watching this storm up here in Star City. This one up here, severe thunderstorm warning, remains in effect. I'm still watching it for some broad rotation, but right now we should be good to go here across the area. So, are you seeing anything across the board over there?
No, just right now all we have are 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Again, these are mostly hailstorms right now. But you know, as we did say, we were going to do a little bit of extended coverage for our folks in Mississippi. Again, Mississippi has already seen several tornado warnings and several reports this evening as well. As a matter of fact, the one that is currently moving through Louisiana,
this one right here,
right now, this one is going to move towards Vicksburg and Jackson, and getting multiple reports from Louisiana law enforcement that several towns have been completely destroyed by a tornado in that storm earlier this evening. Again, that is down in Louisiana and not here
in Arkansas. Yeah, I agree. And we had some other storms down here. Another one in Batesville earlier. They had another tornado move through. They just got through dealing with one about a couple of years ago down there in southern Mississippi. Mississippi's been taking a brunt of this. They've had a lot of tornado warnings down there today. That's going to continue throughout the evening and into tonight. Us here in Arkansas, I saw this one tornado warning we had in not Chico County, Deshay and Drew County. At this point, we're kind of sitting high, which is great news. I told you guys this morning that we would likely either be dealing with a lot of tornado warnings or we would be dealing with a very limited threat. And fortunately for us, we got the latter of that threat here, with it being a very limited threat. So we're going to continue.
Yeah, back and look at. Let's go back to our velocity scan.
Yeah.
Look at the storm of Chico County.
Right
well, once again, let's just zoom in on it. Very, very, very. There's still a little bit of rotation on this storm.
Yeah, it was a good call going toward pause.
And it's gonna. It is about to cross highway 65 and 165 here, just to the south of Dermont. And again, the National Weather Service in Little Rock has followed suit with a warning on that storm. But that is just a hail and wind threat on the northern edge of that. Again, no tornado warnings in effect at this time. However, we do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently in effect. Again, if you live in southeast Arkansas, it is recommended that you continue to just watch and monitor the weather over the next couple of hours. Again, once this front comes through, this will all clear out and we'll be done.
Yep.
But we still, and again, the front is currently coming through West Arkansas now.
That's fine.
So once that front moves through, our threat is over. Again, our threat is small.
Yeah, to begin with. Yeah, there's your front right here coming into northwestern Arkansas. By the way, temperatures up here already in 30s and 40s, so it's relatively cold up here. While we have the time, I want to kind of adjust a few things here. First and foremost, Donna, I see your comment about the difference between a tornado warning and a thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. The biggest difference between the two is tornado warning means a tornado is either ongoing, being detected by radar, or it's going to be occurring shortly, so you need to be seeking shelter. if a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible is issued, basically it's a regular severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail, etc. from there. But that severe thunderstorm has a capability of producing a tornado. So it's kind of a combination of a tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning into both. It's not quite a tornado warning because it's debatable if it produces a tornado or not, but it does show signs of producing a tornado, so that's why it's tornado possible with this point. And also, one more thing I want to address too, make sure you keep the comments professional and nice, because I've got about 3 moderators on this chat right now that's not afraid to block. So just keep that in mind across the board right now, guys. As I mentioned before this morning, we are blessed here in Arkansas. I mean, take a look at this. I'll zoom this out and show you guys why I'm saying that for us here in the natural state. Look what's going on in Mississippi, western Alabama. Look at Louisiana, by the way. Eastern Texas dealt with it earlier. A lot of tornado warnings in this general area. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings in place right now. 2 of them are severe thunderstorm warnings. Also the one near Greenville. We had the tornado warning over here. That's gone. But us here in Arkansas, we are really, really blessed that this did not verify here in Arkansas, because it would have been a whole lot worse than what we were looking at. Okay, so keep that in mind here. Okay. Also, look at there. Tornado warning observed down here in Mississippi. We've got one headed right towards, like you said, Vicksburg, and then eventually that's going to make a way for Jackson here in just a little bit. So if you know the one down here, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. And this one has a long history, I mean, extensive history of producing damage in Louisiana, central Louisiana here. So damage to tornado, ping-pong size hail with that storm here. So tornado is on the ground. That's down there in Louisiana, not in Arkansas, by the way. This is down in Louisiana. Also, you've got a couple of tornado warnings along the Mississippi and Alabama border at this current time here. Okay, so us here in Arkansas, we got one severe thunderstorm warning here that's going to go for Arkansas County. It's also going to go for Drew and Cleveland County as well. Mainly 60-mile-per-hour winds and also quarter-size hail. The storm's moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. I'm going to take off the temperatures. We're going to put a track on this storm real quick. And once these storms are out of here, by the way, I do believe we're going to be done for us here in the natural state. So I'm going to put a track on this. At this point, it's going to go for Grady, DeWitt, and also Amara up here, Arkansas County up into this area. It's going to go for about 658 in Grady, 726 around the DeWitt area. We're going to watch this closely, mainly hail and wind threat with this one, but we're going to have to watch the situation very closely here. Go ahead, Derek.
So again, I don't see anything that warrants, right now, any major warnings. Of course, we are going to be here as long as conditions warrant across the state. Again, the main severe threat still remains for the eastern half of the state.
So
most significantly across far southeast Arkansas. That being said, we still have a cold front coming through. Southern guidance does bring a line of storms across far eastern Arkansas as we head
let's go ahead and do that
into the evening and the overnight hours. So once again,
we'll have to wait and see what this cold front does.
But again, the biggest thing is right now we are fighting a lot of mid-level dry air across state. We're also fighting our nocturnal inversion. So those two things will help to alleviate a lot of the severe threat across much of the state.
I'm gonna take a look at this one real quick. This one's near Shreveport. This one's gonna be heading kind of in the general direction towards Union County. We're gonna watch this one close. The biggest thing is southeast Arkansas. You're gonna be in this until late tonight, until the cold front is able to catch up to this down here. And I'm really worried what's gonna happen when a cold front comes in and it's in this kind of an environment. We'll have to wait and see what happens with all that here. But this is another cell that's developed near Shreveport. It's going to be moving northeast about 50 to 60 miles per hour. We got, like I said before, severe thunderstorm warning here. Mainly hail and wind threat. This one here, I'm going to keep the live stream going until this one crosses the Mississippi River. Once that crosses the Mississippi River, we're going to be done with this particular storm here. But as Derek mentioned before, we're fighting a lot of mid-level dry air, a lot of nocturnal inversion coming in as well. Arkansas really got blessed with this event. If you looked back 3 days ago, you would have automatically assumed that Arkansas was getting ready to deal with another November 4th tornado outbreak. But fortunately for us here in Arkansas, that did not verify. We're still watching southeastern Arkansas very closely throughout the rest of the evening into the night. But the rest of the natural state, I think we're pretty confident at this point to say that you guys are going to be good to go. Southeast Arkansas, we're going to watch the situation closely. With the rest of the state, unless something develops along the cold front, I'm not expecting any sort of activity here across the air. So we'll continue to monitor it, guys. Like I said before, I'm going to keep the stream going until this one has crossed over the Mississippi River. Just going to kind of take a look at everything here, zoom this out, and I mean, boy, Arkansas got really lucky, man. You got a couple of tornado warnings here. Several of them, let's take a look at this real quick. Several of them have been on the ground. Let's take a look at your storm reports real fast. And there's your storm reports here. There it is right there. There's a tornado on the ground. Structural damage with that on Highway 126. The Basefield tornado over here. You've got 2 reports of tornadoes over there, confirmed tornadoes. I believe Cam is on that one. He's gotten damage coming in for that. And then we've got hail reports and stuff like that as well. So, as I mentioned before, guys, we're going to be watching the situation very, very closely here. Yeah,
we do have a lot of followers in Arkansas County concerned about this storm coming up.
Okay.
Folks, right now, this storm is mostly hail.
Yeah.
We also are still getting sirens going off in McGee, but there is no tornado warning in effect at this time.
No.
And that storm is about to cross over the Mississippi River. So at this time, there is no warning in effect in terms of a tornado warning. As a matter of fact, our tornado possible has crossed over the
Mississippi. It's still in effect for northern Chico County. But the majority of this storm, that's the reason why we're still live, is because I'm going to allow this to go into Mississippi, not Mississippi. Over the Mississippi River here. So take that back. Okay, all right, we're good. All right, so we got another severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, up here in eastern Arkansas. That's going to go for 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds up here. Mainly up here towards the West Helena area. Like I said before, we got really lucky here in Arkansas just to only be dealing with a wind and a hail threat here. So we're going to be watching the storm close.
And for
this folks, one right here.
For our folks in Arkansas County, this is the one right now. If you live in, say, Dumas and Stuttgart and DeWitt areas, this storm is going to be mostly a hail threat right now. I'm getting several 1 to 2 inch reports of hail with the storm, and the reason why these are hailers, you have a lot of cold air coming in aloft, ahead of our cold front. They are at the very western edge of our severe weather Cape gradient, meaning our ingredients, one of our ingredients needed for organized severe weather. This is right at that western edge, and they're riding that western edge. So while our tornado threat is relatively low right now, our hail threat is really going up, especially with the amount of cold air coming in aloft across the state. Now, could these still produce a tornado? Yes, but right now that threat is lower for our folks in Arkansas County compared to what it is further towards the south and east. And again, our tornado watch is actually fixing to expire at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
But our question is now, do we get replaced with a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch? SBC has mentioned the possibility of a severe thunderstorm watch across parts of southeastern Arkansas and up to parts of eastern Arkansas as well for mainly hail. But again, whether you're in a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, it does not matter because tornadoes can occur in a severe thunderstorm watch just as well as they can a tornado watch. Once again, the threat is still there. It is lower here than what it is just around south and east, but the threat does remain for much of the evening. For our folks in Ashton and Chico County, you've been virtually untouched all day. So with these storms that are starting to develop around Shreveport and Bastrop and places like that, those storms we're going to be watching as they move into a slightly better environment than the ones just to the north and west. So those are the storms we're going to have to watch as they move into the southeastern corner of the state over the next couple of hours.
Got one right here. Derek, do me a favor over there. Let's take a look at your rotation, because this one is starting to, and I'm really concerned about this, because if it starts breaking away and starts to hook, the environment down here is not as conducive for tornadoes as it is, like you mentioned before, down in Louisiana and Mississippi. But evidence to what we saw in Drew and DeShay counties, you can still get a tornado warning here. So I'm going to stay on this one for just a little bit. see what happens, and we'll take a look at your
Okay,
gate-to-gate
so I
shear.
just have an update from the Storm Prediction Center
Yeah.
in Norman, Oklahoma. They have extended the PDS tornado watch for Ashland and Chico counties.
Okay.
So that has been extended until 2 a.m.
To 2 a.m. now.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are under a tornado watch for Ashland and Chico County, particularly dangerous situation. Does continue until 2 a.m. now.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna be watching that situation very, very close. That goes way later than we were originally anticipating. So, folks, make sure you stay with us, especially down here in southeastern Arkansas. And that's what I was worried about. Your cold front's going to be coming in, and you're going to be starting. And there it is, right there. There's the discussion. Scattered supercells will persist throughout early tonight with a continued threat for a few strong tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. Some upscale growth with line segments is expected later tonight as a cold front approaches from the north and west. So that's what I was saying before. Now, with the cold front coming in, as strong as this cold front is, excuse me, you'd have to watch it closely down here in southeastern Arkansas because it's moving into an environment that's very conducive for severe weather. I'm not expecting a massive amount of severe weather, but we will be watching that situation closely throughout the overnight hours down here in southeastern Arkansas. So that tornado possible is still going to continue until 7:30. I'm going to let this one go into the Mississippi River and over to Mississippi. We'll continue to monitor the situation there. This severe thunderstorm warning, I don't know why my radar decided to go poof on me, but we're gonna take a look at that. But as I said before, this is mainly a hail threat. But I'm gonna keep an eye on it, make sure everything is good to go. We've seen some crazy stuff today, especially out there in eastern Texas, where you've had tornadoes in the marginal and in the slight risk area. So we'll be watching the situation closely. I'll be real curious there to see what they do with this mesoscale discussion. I'll be real curious to see if they're going to put a tornado watch, a severe thunderstorm watch or whatever for eastern Arkansas, just to account for that threat coming in as we get towards tonight. But we'll watch the situation closely, guys. I'm going to let this continue. Also, take a look in the comments and stuff like that. I want to kind of throw out to everybody, I hadn't had to block a lot of people today. It's been awesome in the comments. So, thank y'all for being awesome in the comments today, guys, asking the questions and stuff like that. Just kind of looking at everything right now here, just looking at everything, but a lot of people are asking about Mississippi and us covering over there in Mississippi. So while it's relatively good here in Arkansas for just a little bit, I'm going to take a look at Mississippi for just a little bit. And I mean, boy, there's been a lot of tornado reports out there today. Hattiesburg down there, the Batesville tornado, central Louisiana, central Mississippi over at the Mississippi-Alabama border.
We're seeing a lull right now. And this was expected. We had our daytime threat. Now you're seeing kind of a lull in activity as your low-level jet kicks in this evening.
Watch these cells coming out of
as the low-level jet is starting to kick in. What's going to happen is that will reignite a lot of new storms, as you're already starting to see. Those are the ones where you're going to have to watch for, because your shear will actually increase as we go into the overnight hours.
That's gonna be the biggest
but I do think so. This storm has crossed the river, so we are going to break away just for a little bit. As conditions warrant, we will be back live, and if we do get a lot more warnings coming up, we will be live for those as well.
Okay, biggest thing is, I know a lot of people are kind of concerned and stuff in Arkansas County. This is a hail and wind threat right now. That's the biggest thing here. Let me see if I can get my freaking radar to come back up. There it is. Alright, so this is a hail and wind threat right now. I'm not seeing any sort of evidence that this is on the ground or anything like that, which is awesome. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any sort of rotation or anything like that within this storm. So this is going to be a hail and wind threat coming into Arkansas County. It's going to get loud here in just a little bit. Heavy rainfall, large hail, gusty winds coming into Arkansas County. But right now, as it stands, no tornado threat with that storm here. We're still monitoring this one. This one's still rotating, by the way, going over the Mississippi River. It's just going to cross over at this point. So we're going to let this one go. But if you know anybody on 61, watch that situation closely. If you live in Cleveland or Shelby, watch that close. It's going to continue to move on towards the east-northeast end. And we have another severe thunderstorm warning up here in Helena, West Helena.
And you had a new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued for southern Arkansas, southern and central Arkansas County as well. And this goes for our folks in DeWitt and this is just again
Yeah, a hail and wind threat.
Hail and wind threat. 1-inch hail and of course 60 mile per hour wind.
Yeah.
As well, also I have something new coming out from the WPC. We now have a slight risk for flooding across southeast Arkansas as well. So if you're keeping up, we have a hail threat, have a tornado threat, have a wind threat. Now we have a flooding threat over far southeast Arkansas this evening. Again, rest of the state looks really good throughout the rest of the night. This is going to be strictly a Memphis to Pine Bluff to El Dorado and Southeast Points event this evening. The rest of the state, I do believe we can go on and sound the all clear already because right now nothing looks to form in that part of the state. We're going to be watching far northeast Arkansas as we head later into the evening hours as that cold front continues to push south, but I just don't see much in the way of anything up
I'm not seeing
up there.
Matter of fact, just taking a look at the composite radar, I'm not seeing anything even forming along the cold front. I think the cold front's probably not even going to initiate until it gets south of the metro. So we'll watch the situation closely, guys. Metro 4 radar updates are going to continue on the page and stuff like that. We will break in if there's any tornado warnings or anything like that. But that's all we got for you guys right now. We'll continue to keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.